Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Work Smarter and Lead Stronger podcast, the show where we go deep onto how real leaders build trust, systems, and teams that actually deliver. And today's guest is a pro at that. He brings over a decade of experience navigating risk, controls, and high stakes decision making at the executive level. Everyone, welcome Olakunle or Ola. So Ola is a senior vice president at a major national bank in the US with over 14 years of experience in auditing, risk management, control frameworks, and regulatory compliance. You can imagine what that's like in a financial institution. But don't worry, we're not here to talk about that today. So that has to be its own separate, not even
Yes,
just an episode, a show.
right. I agree.
Yes, but so Ola holds both a bachelor's and a master's in accounting and is certified as a CPA and a CIA. Is that like CIA agent?
Not quite.
Close enough,
Almost.
right?
Close
Almost.
to
Oh my goodness. Truly, like what makes Ola's leadership stand out is how he balances detail driven oversight with team empowerment. And that is huge. And so outside of work, Ola is based in Charlotte, North Carolina, where he enjoys running, traveling, and spending time with his lovely wife and two beautiful children. He also serves when, he's not doing all these amazing things. He serves in leadership at his local church. Ola, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to
Yeah,
the show.
thanks for having me, Temi. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Thank you. Me too. Me too. So let's start with your day to day, Ola. What systems or habits make your week more productive?
Well, that's a great question. Systems or habits. I always get excited about Mondays, but here's why. Because my Sundays are so relaxed. I emphasize my Sundays so well and I make sure that it goes very smoothly outside of
Mm,
serving during the church, but I typically use Sunday to rest. I really do rest on
that
Sundays.
is amazing.
I mean, my wife always jokes that, "I can't get you to do anything on Sundays." I was like, "Yeah, it's my rest." Yeah, right. And I think, when you kinda relax, you watch TV, spend time with your kids, read a book, listen to music, take a walk, or just really relax, it kinda gets you refreshed to some degree till Monday, right? And then Monday comes around, and then you're like, "Oh, wow, well, I didn't do anything yesterday, so I really have to do something to productive today."
Really smart.
But then, my Mondays are also important to me. Monday mornings are very important to me. What I try to do every Monday, I think of 3 things as that I need to accomplish in the morning. I call them my 3 quick wins, right? And, it could be, "Hey, I need to send that email that I didn't get to on Friday," or, I need to read this PowerPoint and respond back to my manager," whatever the case may be. But I try to make sure I accomplish those 3 things, and that sets the tone for the day and for the rest of the week, right? There's something about just accomplishments that it motivates you to keep going. You feel good about yourself and you're like, all right, good. Let me keep going. I've done this and let me keep going. So I think those 2 things, like just resting, feeling refreshed on Sunday and having that 3 quick wins on Monday morning kind of sets the tone. And those are the habits that I've been doing for years now. And it's worked really well.
That's really, really good. Yeah. So being so intentional about
Mhm.
so you're intentional about your Sundays, but also intentional about how you start your day on Monday.
On a Monday. That's
So
right.
it's really good. That's really, really good. And I love that. It's momentum, snowball effect. Once those three quick wins, you get them done. Hopefully, the rest is just as easy. But at least it keeps you
Yeah,
motivated,
that's
right?
right. Right.
Yeah.
There's something about feeling accomplished
Mm,
that also kinda motivates you a little bit. So I try to make sure that I get some kinda accomplishment underneath my belt, right? It's a mental game, right?
of course. It has to be.
Yeah. And then once I have those accomplishment, you feel good. You're like, "Yeah, okay, let me keep going. I've knocked this out. I can do more," you know? And I just try to trick myself as much as I can. I make sure I also exercise at least 3, 4 times a week. That's one of the things that I do. Mondays, I try not to miss gym on Monday mornings. After I drop the kids, I make sure I go to the gym, listen to, my
Mhm.
podcast or whatever the case may be, and I'm
Yes.
then there you go, right? And it's not 1 hour, 2 hours at the gym. I don't spend more than 30 minutes, right? I go in there, couple of
Uh-huh.
weights, a little running here and there, and then I'll do that throughout the week, so that also kinda
That's
helps me
really good.
to keep motivated and stay on track.
Disciplined. I love it.
You gotta trick
And
yourself.
Ola, you've led, sorry?
You know, I say you have to trick yourself into things, right?
Push yourself, yes. And it's so good. You have to be disciplined. No
Yes.
one's gonna do all this stuff for you, right? No one's going to, um, sit you down and get you to do the top 3 priorities, right? People have to learn
Mhm.
to be this, right?
That's
We
right.
can be, on this great podcast, we can share all the great tips and strategies, right? And that's what
That's
we're
right.
here for, but people do actually have to take action.
That's right.
So, Ola, you've led large teams in high regulatory industries.
Mhm.
What's your process for aligning everyone around a shared goal?
The way I approach kinda aligning everyone together is making sure they understand the why and the value that they bring, right?
Um,
And this is the way I try to lead or do anything is how would I like to be,
to be led.
get things done or how would I like to be talked to or lead a project and things like that. And once I understand my why, everything else is piece of cake, right? And I think that's the key that I try to tell my teams, people I work with, my manager across the board. Why are we doing this? What's the benefit that we're going to get out of this? And not only the benefit to the organization, but to us, right? Because I can say, yeah, if I do this, yeah, the company is going to make more money. But
Yeah.
get out of this. So I try to, tailor the message to say, here's the benefit for the organization, but also here's the things you can learn. You can put this on your resume. You can, you know, and you have more knowledge. You could be an expert into this. You could be the go-to person for that. Now you're so versed in this topic and things like that. And when they kind of buy into that, it's just kinda smooth sailing there. So, I think just I always put the why are we doing this, and what's the value and what's the benefit we're gonna get
So
out of
good.
this.
So
So
good. So good. I love what you just said. It reminds me of there's a concept, what's in it for them, like when it comes to communicating with your employees versus what's in it for the company. Still, right? So I think that's what you're tying in. And you said it's in your messaging too, right? So you're like, so yes, yes, where this is a benefit to the company. Yes, let's not pretend, right, that it's only you, the employee, that's benefiting. But also here are the great things that you could, benefit
that's
from
it.
doing. So that's really, really good.
Mhm.
Are you big on over communication? When I say that, people often laugh. They're like, "What does that mean?" It's better to over communicate.
So by nature, right, not a super talker, I'm not the kind of person that would just hours on the phone talking,
Yeah, yeah.
nature, right? But I would say, I'm big on over communication when I see some kind of danger coming along. So if I'm working on a project, an example, there was a project we were working on, and throughout the whole entire organization, they were revamping their whole controls, strategy, and structure. And there was a regulatory issue that my team was working on at the same time. And I was like, wait, how is this restructuring that we're doing? How is it going to impact one of the issues that we're working with the regulators?
Mhm.
And I just didn't see it going well. There were a lot of miscommunication in terms of what they're doing versus what we communicated to the regulatories. At that point, emails going off, I'm setting up meetings, everything, because I always like to see, okay, I think you know what that is. If something goes wrong, everyone's gonna want someone to blame to take the credit. So I can't prevent everything from going wrong, but what I can do is put in things in place to say, "Hey, I sent an email. I met with you guys. We had this conversation. Here are the meeting minutes." So just making sure that, you're being upfront, you're escalating as much as you can. Let everybody know. And if you have to go higher and a higher messages, email, definitely let that be known. So that's when I'll say I over communicate. If it's something that's not as important,
Yeah,
I'm
makes
not
sense.
as over communicative in that area.
Yeah. Also, especially, the higher up you get in companies, executives need things punchy, straight to the point. I don't have time for stories, right? I don't know if you know about the bar communication framework.
I'm
Give you
familiar
the
with.
summary first, then
Okay.
back in action and resolution or something. But just, let me know what the gist is at first. Don't start with, oh, the lady was crossing the road and her cat. Okay, what happened to the cat? What happened to the lady? Start with, the lady got hit by a bus, right? The lady got hit by a bus. Here's what happened. Don't tell me she was wearing a red shirt, right? So maybe that's also part of it, right? And because you've been an executive for so long too, you're probably also like, give me quick,
Mhm.
quick, quick, quick. But I see what you mean too, right? It's good to cover your bases too, right? Just also you're ensuring that people are, or at least you can only try so much to make sure people are on the same page.
Right.
You do your part, and then the rest is up to them.
That's
So
it.
it's really great. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in way too many situations where the finger was pointed at me. I mean, it is what it is. You have to take responsibility for it. But, that's one of the things I've learned. I'm like, "You know what? I've been there, done it. I'm going to just blast everybody. Here's what's going on." And I'll do it multiple times. Records, records, records. Keep track of emails.
Important. Keep
Right,
your receipts.
right, exactly. So that's I when I see
Ah,
danger, when I see things that are not adding up, doesn't make sense, I'm gonna
uh,
put it out there so everyone knows I've brought it up, and then decision makers can make decisions as they see fit, but I'm gonna do my part.
yeah. I see why you're in risk. You're meant to be there.
Well,
You're born.
I don't like things that are, doesn't make sense. We gotta make sure things make sense before we do things.
100%. 100%. Like once I see those red flags, once they're amber, turning
Right.
red, I'm like, hey,
Yeah. Mhm.
oh, that's awesome. So when it comes to managing your team, how do you know when it's time to step in and when it's time to step back and let them handle it?
Yeah, I think prior conversation that we just talked about, I don't over communicate or communicate things I don't need to communicate. And I think I'll use the same approach here too, right? If there's something that is critical, then I'm stepping in. But if we have some time, it's okay. For example, if something's due by 5 today and I haven't heard anything by noon, I'm stepping in. I mean, right? Because see why? Because if something doesn't happen, they gotta come to me and say, "Why does it not happen?" Then I can say, "Well, who's working on this?" Like, "Oh yeah, I'm responsible for it," right? It just really depends on prioritization, criticality, and just making sure that we're covering our bases and checking it. But I, I'm not a helicopter kind of person to micromanage people or anything like that. I believe in empowerment. I want people to really want to do something and want to do it well. If I need to be on you and telling you what to do all the time, then maybe you're in the wrong industry, right? Or something like you got to be motivated to do it. I can't hold your hand. I have way too many kids that I hold hands. I like empowerment, but if I realize, hey, you're not moving as fast or something's coming pretty soon, then that's when I'll step in.
Yeah, especially in such a fast-paced industry.
Yes.
So it's go, go, go.
Yeah, and sometimes, and I'll be honest, sometimes I'll get a request in the banking industry. Things can like really be fire drill in like 2 seconds. Sometimes it's just easier for me to just do it and just knock it out versus trying to say, "Hey, can you help with this? Can you do this? Can you do that?" So it really just all depends on how critical certain things are and the knowledge, right? Sometimes I may have more knowledge than other people that are working on it. So it takes practice, it takes experience to say, "Hey, I've done this. I can probably do it in 5 minutes," versus me telling you to do it.
And it'll depend on each person, right? Each team member, right? Because there are probably some that will have, the experience that's required, and some might be newer or, maybe
That's
more
right.
hesitant because they're like, okay, I've only been here 1 year and I'm kind of, scared I'm gonna make a big mistake, right?
That's right. Yeah. And you also have to be honest with yourself. PowerPoint, I am not good at PowerPoint. Right. So so if there's any kind of PowerPoint done, yeah, I have someone on my team that's like, oh, she's awesome. I need to even learn. I would tell her, can you train me how to do this? Because I don't know. So be honest with yourself. I can't do this. Go right ahead. But I'm gonna check in if the deadline is coming soon. So but yeah, being honest with yourself and just say, "Hey, yeah, if I can do this, let me step in. If I can, then hey, it's not my expertise."
So good, knowing your strengths, and that's great as a leader, right? Pretending that you know it all and you have all the strengths in the world, right? Knowing that this is why I have a team. We all
That's
have
it.
different strengths, right? And that's a powerful part of collaborating.
That's
That's
it.
really
Yeah.
awesome. Very awesome. Wow. I'm already learning. Even I am learning so much.
Good. I feel like I'm learning a lot too.
Your team is probably spread across different time zones and different cultures and all sorts of things. So, what's one lesson you've learned about leading across such?
Such yeah, diverse places. I being a first generation immigrant in the US, I think has helped me in terms of my mindset to understand how people get things done, what's important to people. what culture, what traditions are important to people. Like, for example, like I know yes, in Europe, right, maternity leave is
Yeah.
really, really, really nice, whereas in US, it's really not as nice, right? You're right, it's terrible. So I think just being empathetic and to understand their culture and learning about them, I think that that goes a long way. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I finally met my manager this past June
Wow.
after like 3 years of working with her.
Wow.
Right. So, and I haven't met anyone else on my team, and I've been on a team 4.5 years now. My peers, right? So it's one of those things where you really have to find ways and creative ways to connect and how to lead across these teams. What we try to do is, we'll create team chat on Microsoft Teams. We'll try to share pictures, your weekend, holiday traditions. We encourage that. We say, hey, if you did anything fun, if you went to Disney, you jumped out of a plane, you do whatever, share those moments with us so that way we can feel connected. And, I think that's really it, just
That's
being
really good.
open-minded, understanding, there are different cultures, learning, being open to learning about different cultures, and that will allow you to be able to influence, your teams that are across the different countries and world.
So good. So good.
So,
Minded, empathetic. It's so important. It goes such a long way, right? It's just having that human connection. And I love that you said you encourage people to share about their days. So people get to understand people's personalities, their likes and dislikes. It forms a bond too, right? Oh, if you like
mhm,
jumping off planes and I like that too. Oh, cool. You never know. We can start, maybe
that's
chatting
it.
about it one day. Right? So we're not just colleagues, but we're actually getting to know each other too. And then when the
Mhm,
bigger issues come or the higher tension conversations come, it's easier to have those conversations because you
that's
have
right.
that connection. That's really,
That's
really
right.
good.
Yeah.
So when it
Yeah.
comes to your really intense seasons, which is probably every day.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay, but maybe during audit or compliance deadlines. So how do you
Yeah.
keep your team motivated to not run out of the door of the virtual door?
No, that's a hard one, alright, because everyone is motivated differently, right? Some people are motivated by words of affirmation, right? Congratulations, you did such a good job, or you are doing a good job. Some people are motivated like, yeah, I need more money in my paycheck, right? Or
Mhm.
like this motivates, so
Amen.
I think you just have to know who that person is on your team and kinda
Mhm.
understand how they are motivated. Some people really love, what do they call it? We do this thing on our site where it's like a gift card. There we go. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is great. I love it. Thank you so much." Some people were like, I just want an email just to say I'm doing a good job, things like that. I don't think there's a one size fits all
Mhm.
kind of answer to this. It just really
Yeah.
depends on the individual person. But one thing that I try to do is encouragement, right? Encouragement, you're doing a good job, and
Mhm.
try to break up the seriousness sometimes. Not saying I'm not a serious person, right? But life can be serious all the time, and even when you're in the busy season or every day, you have to find some kind of joy, some kind of funny
Mm,
moments to kind of break up the day. So sometimes I'll just send an email just to, something funny that I saw or I learned today or something like that. And then, just get everybody
good.
relax a little bit, laughing a little bit.
Mm,
And, that kind of breaks the ice. So
that's
I
really
just
good.
try to incorporate lack of seriousness all the time. We have the saying within our team, right? If we don't close this account, if we don't have this deadline, right, no
Mhm.
one's gonna die. We're not surgeons, we're not
Now,
doctors. Like this is not a life and death situation.
provided you communicate as well, right? You're like, okay, yes, it's going to be late, but we'll communicate it, but it's not the end of the
That's
world.
right.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah. So I just try to take the seriousness out of it. Everyone that knows me will know that I'm a firm believer that we're not saving lives here. Okay. We're helping banks and organizations meet their financial objectives. A few hours, a few days is not it's not a game changer. So
so true. So true. So important.
yeah, you gotta
Good reminder
understand
for
what's
you.
important to you, right?
Yeah. And I think in you just trying to find a way to lighten people's days, you're not just talking the talk, you're walking it. Because it's one thing for a leader to say, "Oh yeah, everyone remember it's not the end of the world and stuff." But if the leader's uptight and stressed all the time, then your team's going to be the same way, whether you keep saying it or not, right? But if you're, even in just showing in the way you behave, you're showing that
Mhm.
yes, okay, to have a lighter, to have lighter parts in your day, then that
Yes, yes.
encourages your team as well to do the same, right? So
Yeah.
that's really
For
good. People
you
don't realize it's so
no,
important to like,
and you're right, you just said it. Is
yeah,
that balance, right? You can't be serious all the time, but you can be unserious all the time, right? Because
unless you're like a clown or something, then yes, you can be. That's your profession. If you're a circus clown, you're allowed to be unserious all the time.
so the leaders that I admire the most, they're
Yeah,
very serious, but sometimes they'll do something or say something and they're like, "Huh, okay, they're still human being, okay."
they're still
And
human.
that's the kind of leader I like to be. Yes, we have stuff to do. We need to do it, hands down. We're gonna meet the deadline, but let's have fun while we're doing it. Let's, insert some work life activities, some trivia or something in there to break it up every now and then. Because you just can't be serious all the time. So
So good, so good. That is so good. So we're gonna move on to the rapid fire round. It can be as fast or it can be snail pace round if you choose.
okay.
No, no pressure, right?
Uh, are these one word answers, or can I talk more about it, or it doesn't
You can
matter?
talk more about it. You can make it as short or as long. Yeah, it's funny. So people are listening. They probably already listened to a few episodes, but a lot of leaders don't just give like 1 or 2 words because
Okay,
I guess you
that's
guys are also passionate about these questions.
yeah. I was like, yeah, it's hard to just give 1 to 2 words.
Yeah, I think maybe only one person they did for like a few questions, but after that they went back to their
Got it.
their true
Okay.
selves. Whatever the best way is for you to,
Mhm.
explain or talk about what you want to talk about, please. It's your show. This is your show. I'm just the host. Okay. I'm just here with the
I like
mic.
that. That's right. It's my show. That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
I like that. I
I'm the
like that.
producer in the background.
There you go.
Okay. So tell us, what's the first thing you do when you feel overwhelmed?
Music. I love
Mm.
music. I don't know, it just calms me down. So many different genre. Obviously, Afrobeats is what I listen to the most,
Hey,
right? But just music in general, worship music, any kind of music, it just calms me down. That's one of the things I do. Exercising, obviously, also is one of my thing. Running, working out, also calms me down. But my number one is ultimately music.
that is so good, especially if you can't step away. So let's say you have a meeting or something, right? Or you're still at work.
Mhm.
I don't know if you have weights at your desk, right? But you can just plug in your
Right.
AirPods or headphones and listen to music.
That's it.
So
Yeah.
that's really, really good. What would you say has been your most useful soft skill in leadership?
Okay. Uh, I think I talked about this a while ago too, but empathy.
I was gonna say that's yours for sure. I was gonna tell you that if you don't know it,
Yeah, no, empathy has been so useful. Not sympathy, right? Because
no
sympathy is
empathy.
I
Yeah,
acknowledge your feeling. Thank
yeah,
you.
right. That's great.
But I think empathy it just goes a long way, right? Because I don't know. I believe in people. I believe in making sure that people are their best version of themselves. And when you can empathize with them and say, hey, I can't really understand what it is you're going through, but if I was to put myself in your shoes, this situation sucks. I
Yeah.
get and what can I do to help you with, in any kind of capacity. Take the time off you need or whatever the case may be. And I just find that so useful because, right, number one, it builds trust.
Mm-hmm.
And, you once you build trust, you can do a whole lot of things. Right. Oh, it also bring that human element into it, right? That, we all have things going on, family members, whatever the case may be. So I would say empathy whenever I can empathize with someone, I realize our relationship grows tremendously after that.
Yes, so true. More loyalty, especially I know a lot of leaders complain about how team members are leaving, attrition is high, but sometimes it's because you're really showing that you care about the person,
There,
or
that's it.
or you acting like they're just a number.
Hmm.
Those type of things. People are really smart. It
Yeah.
adds up. Money is good. I know you said money is a motivating factor for people, but like the way I see it, to a certain degree, like, especially if it's a steady paycheck, right? You kind of get used to it, right? And then it's the other things that keep your team members happy. So
Yeah.
yes, okay, they see the money coming like, after a few
Hmm.
months. Okay, that's great, right? But then what else is making them stay?
Right. I don't remember. I was reading somewhere, some article, but they were saying that the number one reason why people leave jobs is not because of money. It's been a few years now, but it's really how they felt in that job, how their manager treated them, the relationship that they build. Listen, I've seen people that are not making a lot of money, but they will be at this job for like 50 years. And you're like, but you don't make a lot of money, but I love it. I enjoy it. I love the people. I love the work. It's like, huh, okay. So it can be just about the money. You can go anywhere and make money, but it's what kind of
Exactly.
environment are you creating? So that's what I
So
try to do.
true. So true. That's awesome. So let's talk
Hmm.
about my favorite topic,
Okay.
meetings. I'm
Okay.
all about effective meetings, right? So what would you say is your biggest meeting pet peeve?
Too. Uh,
Okay, let's hear.
When people set up a meeting to have another meeting, they're like, "Oh, the
Mm,
purpose of this meeting is to prep for the meeting we're gonna have tomorrow." I'm like, "Okay, wait. Why don't we just have the meeting tomorrow and just
no.
talk about everything we wanna talk about?" Right?
Right?
It drives me nuts. And then the second thing that drives me nuts
Yeah,
is,
that's
when the host is unprepared and no one on the
mm,
call knows why they're here on the call. It's like, you just wasted 5, 10 minutes of my time. Like, literally, people are like, "Why are we here? What are we gonna talk about today?" I'm like, "Wait, so you don't know why you're here?" And the host is also like, "Well, I just thought we'll get together and hash things out," or what. I'm like, "No, no, 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 no." And that luckily, I haven't had a
but
lot of that, but I'll get 2 or 3 of those in a year, and I'm just like, "Okay, I just leave. I can't deal with this." Yeah, it's a
like
bad
I'm
pit.
too busy for this. Do you know that unproductive meetings cost employers about $29,000 per employee per year?
I didn't know that.
And that depends on the job level too. Yeah, so you can imagine for yours, it's way more, right? But you can imagine it's costing at least 29,000 per employee
It's
a year.
interesting.
Less productivity, right? It's money that can be used to increase salaries or, for more R&D or for more CSR initiatives, right? But
Yeah.
because people aren't, really improving meeting culture, they just keep doing the same thing over and over again. I can imagine, your company, how many employees they have. Let's say 10,000, right?
Yeah,
That's a lot of money.
it is.
That is a lot of money that could be used for to help communities, right?
Doing is, I thi it's like the 3 things if you're setting up a meeting, you have to put I'm trying to remember now. Why us? Why now? And I think it's like one other thing. So basically, you have to put a rationale on why we need to have this meeting, or else the meeting is not gonna work. So I like that they started doing that because then people were like, "Ok, why us? Like, why are we here? Why now? Like, why is it important? Why can't we have the meeting next month? Or why doesn't it need to be today? Right? And why are we doing this? And why this? I think that's what it is. Like, what are we talking about? Like, why are we what's the point?" Every meeting has to have that. And I think since I think that was incorporated maybe a couple of years ago, and since then our
Yeah,
meetings have been a little bit more productive, right? Because the
more
host now
productive.
has to enter those information and they're not just trying to set up a call just to set up a call. So
Just to
I
set up a call.
appreciated that.
Meeting for a meeting. A meeting to prep for a meeting. That is so good. And I think especially for the hosts, they do need to slow down sometimes, right? And I like that the 3 I wouldn't say the 3 views, right?
Mhm.
Um, they it's not like a structure because some people just get scared of agendas. I think that's what it is. They're like, "Oh my god, an agenda is like, it has to have all these bullets and bolded and things." And I don't want to sit down and figure all this stuff out. But like, you're giving them prompts to think through, which is so great.
Wow.
So great.
But yeah, that's those are my 2 pet peeves. Sorry, I didn't have one. I had 2.
No, you're not. Don't worry, you're not alone. Trust me, you're
Alright,
not
good.
alone. Other than the 3, let's say 3 W's. Do you have a personal rule for saying yes to a meeting invite?
I don't have a personal rule. I mean, if I'm available, I'll accept. If I'm not, then I just won't. So I don't know if I necessarily have a rule per se. It's just a matter of if I'm available, I'll accept it. Now, there's certain meetings where I'm optional and I probably don't need to join. But sometimes I just like to be a fly on the wall just so I can learn and understand what it is that they're talking about. When the meeting comes up, number 1, am I available? Yes, okay, that's the first hurdle. I'll accept. And number 2, once I join the call,
Yeah.
is it beneficial? Am I learning? Am I gaining value? Then Yes, I'll stay on. If no, I'm out within 5 minutes. I don't play about, like, my time in my meetings.
I can
I
tell.
Yeah, I just there's so many other things I can be doing with my time versus just sitting on a meeting that's not adding any kind of value to me, or I'm not learning anything, or doesn't pertain to me. So I'm just mindful. Again, I always wanna
So
learn, but if it's not a beneficial meeting for me, then
good.
I
Yeah.
just
I think
exit.
leaders need to empower their teams to be able to do the same. And I think sometimes too, people are afraid. And that's one reason why I've noticed people add too many people to meetings is that they're afraid that they're gonna miss something. Right? But I think it ties back to what you said about it's not surgery. If you make a mistake this one meeting, it's okay.
It is.
It's a
Right,
lesson learned. Okay, if maybe you drop off and then they realize they actually need you and then they ping you. It's not the end of the world, right? If you if you don't add all the people and then maybe in that case you do need to rebook, but at least you tried.
right. That's it.
But I just think people just get scared, and they don't want to
Mhm.
take those chances. But
Yeah,
I
but
think leaders need to also kind of find a way to empower their teams to be okay with these type of
yeah,
mistakes
yeah.
and learning.
And yeah, and think critically. I try to live a simple life. Going back to my why, what value, like, let's simplify life, and if this does not need to happen now, then it does not need to happen now. Life's already complicated by itself. Let's not
I
add
love
an
this.
issue to it.
Preach.
Talk about it.
So tell us, Ola,
Okay.
what's the worst advice you have heard about leadership? Spill the tea.
S Advice I've heard about leadership. I think I will I don't know if worse is the right word to say, but,
Mm,
I think sometimes people always make it seem like leadership is easy. Oh, it like everyone can be a leader.
mm,
No, it's so I don't know if it's usually I'll say worse, but I just think that there's a lot of misconceptions about leadership. It's hard. You
mm,
have to be strategic, it's
so
thoughtful.
hard.
Yeah, and not everyone can do it, right? And if you wanna do it, you can, but some people are natural leaders. Some people, they actually have to, be taught how to be a leader. I'll be honest, I don't know if I'm technically a natural. I think I may be a combination of I have some, but I
Yeah.
put in a lot of work, right? Books and seminars and training and
Mm,
things like that on how to be a leader. So I would say it's not easy. You have to work hard at it, but if you work hard at it, you can do it. But I think sometimes people just make it seem like, yeah, just go do it, right? Just be a
right?
leader. Okay, yeah, all right,
Just be a leader. How? And like
right,
that's great, but how?
yeah. What's
Yeah.
you have to know
That's
how to
so true.
influence. You have to know how to corral
Uh,
people. You have to know how to deal with people's personal struggles in life, right? If you're not equipped to do all of that, then you're gonna fail. So it's not easy, and not everyone can do it, but you
uh,
can do it with proper training, determination, and willpower. So
I agree. I agree. Like even the natural born leaders. I think everybody still needs to learn, right? Like you said, you can be a natural born leader in one aspect of leadership, but like you said, there's influence. There's so many different, other traits that people have to develop. Right? So everybody needs to keep learning.
that's it. That's
There's
it.
always something, especially the way the world is changing. Right? There's always something to
And
learn to
even
be better at.
yeah, and I don't know if a lot of people even know this, but most I don't know the percentage, but I would say close to like 99% of CEOs were groomed and trained to become CEOs. And I don't
Mm,
know if a lot of people know that, but our organization, right? You'll see people start rising their ranks, and we're like, "Oh, yeah, they're training them to be a leader," right? So no one just miraculously wakes up to be a CEO. Everyone has to kinda go through some kinda training, some kind of preparation. Now,
mm,
some people may have some of the qualities,
huh?
but you still have to be groomed, right? Because 'Cause you're gonna face a lot of different things, and you
So
have to be
true.
able to handle all of that. One thing I would say is to be a leader, you have to be trained to be a leader. No one just becomes a leader natural. Well, not say natural, but
I know what you
train
mean.
your
Yeah,
head to
an exceptional leader,
yeah, there
right?
you go.
Yes, an exceptional leader. So true.
Mhm.
So true.
An effective one, you know? So, yeah.
Yes. So, do you have I said you said you talked about books and seminars and such, right? Do you have a favorite leadership book or even a quote that you'd like to share?
My all-time favorite, John Maxwell,
Of course,
Irrefutable Leadership.
Uncle John. Thank you, Uncle John, for all your work.
Yeah, that's my favorite. I feel like I read that book at least once a year. I
Which
mean,
one?
the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership.
Mm,
Just a lot, so many good things in there. Every time
mm,
I read it, I'm like, yes, I can do this.
something else.
It's like a
Yeah.
motivation, you know. But one of my favorite quote though, again, you probably see the narrative of my life is empathy. Maya
Mm,
Angelou, she had a quote that people forget what you say, people forget what you did, but people will never forget how you make them feel. So eh, I always think about that quote because you can do all the right things, say the right things, but if they don't feel what you're saying and they just feel like crap, or it's like whatever you just said kind of went over their head, all of what you just said and done didn't mean anything. So you always have to kind of understand how people are feeling, and emotional IQ,
yeah.
making sure that you're tuned into their emotion and their feelings. So it's just one of the things that I always think about, right? It's not about I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, but how do they feel about this? I think that's the most important thing.
That's a perfect, because I was going to actually ask you, what's one thing that leaders can take away, like an action item, right, to build more trust this week? So I'm guessing it's, be more empathetic, but I'm going to, pass it on to you. So what's one small thing
That leaders can do to
to
be
build more
effective,
trust with their
for
teams
more
this
trust.
week? Yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely empathy, obviously. One of the things that I also try to do is mean what you say and do it, right? Integrity. I think that's how you build trust. Everybody's gonna be different, but the people that I've looked up to and I've admired are people that live what they preach. In personal life, in banking or financial services, whatever the
Mhm,
case is. Like if I see you say something and because I watch people, right?
mhm,
I think the best way to show, who are your true self is to see how they act, right?
mm,
So I always watch people and I'm like, "But they really are living what they preach, right?" They say, I wake up at 5 or I read this or do that. And if you kind of follow them, you see that they're doing it. So I think when you say something, do it.
mm.
I tell my kids too. I know I'm bringing family into this, but
Really good. Really good.
if you say you're going to eat your food, you better eat
Right?
your food,
Eat your
right?
broccoli.
Yeah. I don't want to hear anything else. You said it. You said it. If you didn't want to do it, don't say it. Just save yourself and so I think that's the biggest thing that leaders need to do, right? Live what you preach. It's hard. I'm not gonna lie, right? Because certain things sound scary, and we all say it, do this, do that, but we don't actually do it. And I'm very mindful of my words because I think words can go a long way. So whenever I say something, I make sure I've said it.
Mhm.
Now I have to do it. Sorry, I shouldn't have said
So
it if I
good.
didn't mean it. Live what you preach and mean what you say and do it.
So, so good. Wow.
Hmm.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights, leadership story. You really are a heartfelt leader. I want people to know that it's okay to be heartfelt. It's okay to care about people. Remember, people are human beings. It's not just about your bottom line. It's
Hmm.
part of the triple bottom line too, right? I think people is part of the triple, right? It's not just the cash bottom line, right? There's people, profit, and planet, essentially, right?
That's
So
it.
thank you for leading with care,
Yeah,
right?
of
Shout out
course.
to your team when they listen to this. You guys are
Yeah.
so lucky to have such a great boss, but you are such a powerful example. Sorry.
So we'll see what they say about
When I see the reviews, they're like,
right. You said
oh my
this?
goodness.
Okay.
Right? According to the podcast.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But
I
no,
know
truly you are a
it's been
powerful.
good.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time. And for everybody listening, thank you for listening. I'm sure you enjoyed this conversation. I know I did. And if this conversation sparked something for you, please be sure to follow the podcast, Work Smarter and Lead Stronger, anywhere you get podcasts. Kunle, thank you so much once again. Do you have anything else you want to say to the people
No,
other than a goodbye?
just Tammy, thanks for having me. I think what you're doing is awesome. It's fantastic to really tap into leaders across the world to share their insight. I think we all can benefit from this. Always willing to learn, so I'm gonna make sure that I listen to the other podcast
You
that you've recorded, and we'll definitely continue to help it support leaders across the world as much as we can. So thank you for doing this. I
Yeah,
think what you're doing is going to impact a lot of people. So it's good to see.
thank you. I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much, Colleen. Thank you so much for the kind words and for your time. So
Of
until next
course.
time, everyone. See ya.
Take care, everyone.